Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ruffle Rowlett, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we're going to take a look at a bunch of Pokemon information leaks. We got some news to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, an individual on Twitter has appeared who seemingly is legitimate with their info. Based on a lot of people, like, I've gotten a lot of DMs, okay? Gotten a lot of DMs, and there is a reason I think this person legitimate is because I have one of my personal sources essentially who is more or less confirmed something for me, which then proves this right as well. So keep that in mind, right? I think this is real, but there's always a chance it's not going to be real, you know. But if my source, who I've been, you know, speaking to a little bit, if that source is correct, which I'm not going to name anyone, if they were correct, then this is correct too. I'm not going to say which information they gave me that is correct as far as what they've given me compared to this, but just sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the information, shall we? So, starting off, here is the guy. His name is Ball Guy Leaks, and he posted a shit ton of information. Now, what's interesting is that someone in particular said something very interesting about this stuff. None else than our boy himself, Eclipse. Eclipse actually tweeted about this guy, saying, you know, like, that's very ballsy to do, right? Like, it's very ballsy to say that stuff, which is very interesting that he would say that, because then this guy just posted a bunch of stuff, which interestingly enough seems to be somewhat more on the legitimate end of the spectrum, right? So let me see if I can find that exact tweet for you guys here. Here it is. So here's the tweet where he tweeted, ballsy AF, I should say. And then if you look at the actual, you know, post, this guy's Twitter account here for Ball Guy Leaks is literally reliable. That sounds ballsy to say. And he's only following one person, which is Junichi Masuda, interestingly. And some of his tweets are all about, like, Junichi Masuda, more or less. Now, let's talk about the actual information he's posted, and let's see if it's aligns. Because some of this stuff here, I'm not going to tell you what, but some of the information here actually coincides really well with information I've received from another source. Now, if that source is BSing, then it's really, I don't know what to say then. If it's all BS, then it's all BS. But I think it could be real. So let's just read through the leaks, shall we? So, Gen 9 in 2022. I've talked about this before. Why I'm certain it's going to happen next year, why I think it must happen next year, or else Pokemon is in trouble. BDSP, he says here, the Primal Dialga and Palkia leak is fake. So apparently there are no Primal Dialga Palkias for Legends Arceus or BDSP. They still do, however, though, get a new form like Origin Giratina. No DLC. So no DLC for BDSP, and apparently the Pokemon like Legendaries, Dialga and Palkia, would get some sort of form similar to Origin Giratina. If you don't know what Origin Giratina is, it's basically like this, just more or less like different version of Giratina, if you want to say it like that. So if we take a look at these images right here, you'll see what we're talking about. So you have normal Giratina, which looks like this, right? This is just Giratina general one, right? And then Origin Giratina is more or less this one, which he looks like a flying boy, you know what I mean? So that's the big difference between them, you know, like one is this and one is this. So that's like the different version essentially. But yeah, that's what he says there. Next up though is something pretty interesting. So he says Legends, 7 new Pokemon. So 7 new Pokemon for Legends. Now, does this question now is, what he's saying here, does this mean 7 more new Pokemon or 7 in total? Because if it's 7 in total, then we have to count the ones we already know. Because what do we already know? Basculegion is a brand new Pokemon. Weirdeer is a brand new Pokemon. Kleavor is a brand new Pokemon, right? That leaked Pokemon that we haven't seen yet, which he actually covers later on. So sit through the video. I'm going to talk about that. Is a brand new Pokemon. So that's 4 brand new Pokemon with 3 more missing, right? If that's what he's saying, unless he means there's 7 more on top of the already existing 4, right? Or 3, I guess, and then there's another 7, which would make it a total of what, 10, right? If that's the case, like maybe that's what he's referring to. If he's referring to that, then there would be 10 new Pokemon. And then he says 17 Hisuian forms. Now with Hisuian forms, we have to remember, right? We could have like a pre-evolution Hisuian form for all these brand new ones like Weirdeer, Basculegion, Kleavor, right? It could be a Hisuian Scyther. We don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen if there is a Hisuian, you know, oh, and there's also Braviary. Let's not forget that. We haven't seen, like, you know, those, like, if there's a pre-evolution for Braviary that is also Hisuian, right? Like a Rufflet that is Hisuian. We haven't seen that yet, so it's a bit up in the air, to say the least, right? Now, what do we have then in terms of Hisuians, right? Hisuian forms. Well, we already have Growlithe. We're going to have Arcanines. That's already 2. We already have, what else do we have, actually, now that I think about it? What else do we have? I cannot remember off the top of my head. But we have already, like, give or take 4 or so, something like that, right? 4 or 5 maybe, give or take, depending on how you look at it. Oh, well, we have Braviary, right? So that's 3. If Rufflet has one as well, then that's 4. So yeah, like we're running down the list and there's not really going to be that many once you count the evolutions. But either way, nonetheless, now he says new starter evolutions. So here it's basically like for this, so I guess Decidueye, Samurott, and Typhlosion, right? What those will have in terms of brand new forms or, forms essentially. So apparently for the grass type, which is my boy Rowlet in this case, he'll be a grass fighting type, which actually will be pretty interesting. Now, if you guys don't know this, the whole theory is that that they're based on like different like things from Japan, like warriors of some kind, right? With Decidueye being based on like a samurai arch or whatever, and Samurott being based on a literal samurai because of the name and everything, and then of course Typhlosion being based on like a shogun with its name kind of relating to a shogun, which is kind of like the more or less the in terms of hierarchy, the essentially leader of the samurai, right? And so it's similar to like an emperor, kind of, back in the day. Either way, nonetheless, grass fighting, though, is going to be interesting because it fits with the, I guess, bow and arrow thingy somewhat. Water dark for that one, that's going to be strange for Samurott. Wow, that's going to be interesting. And then a fire ghost type for... See, now I want to have Cyndaquil more and more. I'm going to let you guys vote for who I'm going to, like, actually have as a starter because, man, I'm feeling more and more that I want to actually have myself a Cyndaquil or a Typhlosion, or Cyndaquil into a Typhlosion, rather than having, well, anything before that. So it is what it is. But nonetheless, that is what he said. That was the first piece of information. And by the way, shout out to all the boys who've been sending me this information. I really appreciate it, lads. But yeah, so the lad has been tweeting a lot. And then, of course, we had a clip saying ballsy AF, I should say. And this guy, of course, on his actual, account says, reliable. And the thing is, he says this in Tokyo. Don't know if that's legitimate or not. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But if we actually look through his profile and look at exactly this point, let me see. What do we have from him in this case? So we have him tweeting more or less just stuff about like Masuda and stuff, which interestingly enough is exactly what Steelix told me about him. He said, could this be Masuda himself? His only liked tweets are recent Masuda tweets and a reply to that tweet. So I don't know if this is Masuda who's tweeting this stuff. He wouldn't tweet it in English this well. Like, I don't think he would do that this well, but he tweeted this stuff. So it is what it is. Now, next up is this thing right here. So he says that the climbing Pokemon seen in the old Legends Arceus leak is the new evolution of Sneasel. He says Sneasel, but Sneasel. So he says more soon. And yeah, I don't know, man. If it is Sneasel, it would make sense based on the stuff we've seen. It doesn't seem impossible. Also, it would make sense because Sneasel got an evolution. So Sneasel is a Gen 2 Pokemon, right? Sneasel is from Generation 2. Generation 2 Pokemon ended up getting evolutions and stuff in Generation 4. And in Generation 4, Sneasel is one of the Pokemon that exists over in like the colder area up by Snow Point City, right? That's where you can get yourself a Sneasel in the cold, right? He's an ice type, of course. And on top of that, you get a brand new evolution in that game. Generation 4 is when they introduced evolutions to Pokemon like Sneasel, to Pokemon like Magmar and Electabuzz, right? That's when they got evolutions, and Weavile was introduced. So it wouldn't be too strange to think that before Weavile existed, or, as Weavile did exist, there was also a separate evolution that could be reached somehow differently, right, for Sneasel. I honestly think it's a perfect opportunity to introduce something like that. It wouldn't be strange at all. I think it actually would make sense in the grand scale of things. So yeah, he says it's going to be Sneasel. That's what a lot of people have been speculating, so it doesn't seem too out of the ordinary. Then also Eclipse said, be ready for next week, and he said this last week, I think on the 15th, right? So that was last week on Friday. He says, be ready, which means we could get a trailer, a wild trailer. It could pop up a brand new trailer either today or tomorrow. I'm recording this on a Tuesday in the morning, and I'll be posting this shortly after I'm done recording it because I just want to get this information out there to you guys. But this info, right, that he's saying here, this trailer could actually happen either today, later today, or it could happen tomorrow around 3 to 4 p.m. CET, which is Central European time, right? But for Americans, it would just be very early in the morning for you all. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. This man has been tweeting a lot about Masuda and towards Masuda, which makes some people think he is Masuda, which I don't think is the case. But based on like some of the information I've received in private, I think he's legitimate. Also, based on the information that like, other people have been sending me, I think he might be saying the real things and the real deal. So we'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Hopefully Ball Guy like does put out information, often, because that would be great. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ruffle Rallis. I'll see you all the next time. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.